In this video, I'm going to go over the Virginia Beach real estate market so that you can decide for yourself whether the market has reached its peak or there's still room to climb. Then we'll discuss some tactics on how to find the right house and win a bidding war. There are 3 really important market trends that you need to know. Once you understand these and put them in context with today's market in Virginia Beach, you'll be in a much better position to decide if you should move now or hold off until later. First, the number of sales is gradually climbing year over year. This chart of home sales each month in Virginia Beach going back to 2010 clearly shows that home sales have been gradually increasing. The low point is typically January of each year, and the high point is in late spring, summer of each year. Sales have been increasing gradually for 10 years. This is easy to see. However, the number of new listings has stayed relatively steady over the same period. This is the chart of new listings each month in Virginia Beach going back to 2010. Again, you can see it's cyclic over the course of each year. The low point is always December, and the most new listings hit the market in the spring and summer. It's been fairly consistent again. This is easy to see. The big change is that the inventory has almost completely vanished. The market has worked through the inventory over the past 10 years, and now it's all gone. Here we are back in 2010 with 4,000 homes on the market, in 2015 with 3,000 homes on the market, in 2019 with 1,500 homes on the market. Today we have just under 1,000 homes on the market each month. It might seem like a lot, but it's the same number as the new listings each month, which also matches up nicely with the number of homes sold each month. So in the most recent months, the number of homes on the market equals the number of new listings, which equals the number of sales. And that's the story. That's what's causing the price increases and the multiple offers. Not just in Virginia Beach, but all over the country. When you have multiple buyers bidding on a limited supply, prices tend to rise. That's what I learned in freshman economics. And lo and behold, we're watching it happen here. It's interesting to note that the number of new construction homes in Virginia Beach is a relatively small part of the market. Most of the area has already been developed, especially close to the water. That said, 2021 has been a low point for new construction, likely due to the supply chain drama surrounding COVID. I have several other data points that I'm happy to share with you if you're interested. Just give me a call. One number that's missing from the charts because the data is not tracked is the average number of offers each listing receives. As recently as a couple years ago, it was close to 1. A house would be on the market for a few weeks and finally get 1 offer. In 2020, we started seeing multiple offers become commonplace. In 2021, virtually every home and new listing would get multiple offers, including new construction. There was just a listing in my neighborhood last week that got 24 offers, and it was a fixer-upper. I wouldn't call that typical, but it's not uncommon for a desirable listing to get 10 offers. So the evidence on the street indicates that demand is still vastly outstripping supply. In the tea leaves that I'm reading, this is the new normal. In summary, there are too many buyers chasing too few homes in Virginia Beach, and probably most of Virginia and the country. So what's the problem? I think it's as simple as the housing supply hasn't kept up with population growth. According to the Wall Street Journal, construction of new housing in the past 20 years fell 5.5 million units short of long-term historical averages, according to a new National Association of Realtors report. And the report also says that from 2010 to 2020, new home construction fell 6.8 million units short of what was needed to meet household formation growth and replace units that were aging or destroyed by natural disasters. And to shrink the supply deficit, builders would need to exceed the long-term historical average pace of 1.5 million units a year. At 2.1 million units a year, near the level reached in 2005, it would take a decade to close the gap of 5.5 million units. A decade. And this year we're on track to be average. So don't expect any help here from new construction. Building will likely increase in Chesapeake and Suffolk because there's more land. But let's be honest, those areas are not Virginia Beach. So we have inflation increasing the price of goods and wages. Lack of supply and competition is pushing up home prices nationwide. It's apparent we aren't building enough new homes. And Virginia Beach is a desirable place to be because the climate is mild, it's protected from hurricanes more so than most cities around the East Coast. The schools are fantastic, our budget is balanced and we get plenty of revenue for tourists. And the number of places that you can enjoy the water is unparalleled. Rivers, lakes, bays, the ocean, beaches. While the other cities in Hampton Roads can be great places to live, they don't offer the proximity to water and water activities that are part of the daily life of those living in Virginia Beach. When you put all these things together, it's hard to envision a scenario where supply will suddenly increase or the demand will suddenly decrease. How about finding a rental? I've had more clients sell their rental properties this year than any other year. If you've been holding on to a rental for 10 years and thinking about selling it, you might think there couldn't be a better time to sell, right? Normally, it's difficult to sell a rental property. They've been lived in a bit harder than a home that's been cared for by the owners. Today, the tenants can move out and you can sell the house tomorrow. Many of those who would otherwise rent are now in the market to buy because they can't find a rental, and this increases the demand even further. And there you have it. Multiple offers, climbing prices, and data that indicates more of the same. If you think today's market is overpriced and want to wait for prices to come down, you might be waiting forever. If you're like me and see the Virginia Beach market as a combination of an incredible place to live and see the data showing that demand is greatly outpacing supply, then you might be willing to craft a plan to learn more about the neighborhoods, so that you know where to look and know what to do when the right house comes on the market. And that brings us to part 2, where I'll cover how to get your head around the current market and how to be smart about crafting a winning bid. Of course, you can always pick up the phone or shoot me an email. Sometimes talking about it is quicker than watching the entire internet. I know I've been there. Just call me.